Can you imagine skateboarding with Lil Wayne, one of the world's best rappers?
Used to skate. I've probably been skating over 10 years now.
That's exactly what OC Ramps did for 7 years. Welcome to Ramp Tales. Here's a story of how OC Ramps landed a contract with Young Money, Cash Money Records, and Lil Wayne. Let's dive in. An interesting fact about music videos. There's something that people don't know about music videos, and that's the fact that these things could take 24 to 36 hours to film. It's a long process. And generally what happens is they'll take a couple hours to set up the scene, the set, and then they'll call the talent in, they'll film for maybe 5 minutes, and then they'll be like, okay, cut. Then the whole film crew moves to a different scene. They take a few hours to set that up, and then they call talent. So what do these celebrities do in between the sets? Well, some of them go back to their trailer, they'll play Xbox, PlayStation, they'll eat food, whatever. In the case of Lil Wayne, he wanted to skate. Our first event with Wayne took place back in 2012. They rented a couple of our skateboard ramps for a music video with Birdman.
And when you see those tours I did, full skate parks on the stage.
Yeah.
Well, they came to our shop. Damn it.
It's Lil Wayne calling right now.
I know, seriously. Wayne, what up?
I want to ramp.
In the case of Lil Wayne, when he was on set, he wanted to skateboard.
I've probably been skating over 10 years now.
Yeah.
And they still trying to figure out, they still literally ask the question like, you still be skating?
And so we got a call from somebody within Young Money Management, and they wanted to rent a couple of our quarter pipes for a video with Birdman. We did that, they came and picked it up. It all worked out great. A week later, they call us again and they say, hey, Wayne wants more ramps, and can you guys come set up like a mini ramp for this other music video that's gonna take place in LA. We need you here at Sunday at 11 p.m. So this guy works late, he's like nocturnal. And mind you, we got that phone call on a Friday, so it's like literally a 2-day heads up type of thing. I had this freshly built ramp, so we thought, okay, hey, let's just hop in our truck, attach the trailer with the mini ramp, and then we'll head up to LA. So it's Sunday at 10 o'clock at night. Mind you, we had built this ramp originally to only go about 20 miles an hour tops. Well, we're not going 20 miles an hour on the freeway at this point, heading to Wayne. We're all excited. We're listening to Birdman and Lil Wayne as we're actually driving up there. And lo and behold, a gust of wind caught under the ramp, and I look in my rear view mirror, and literally this mini ramp just lifts up and it just starts sliding off of the trailer onto the freeway. And my heart sank. It was like, I've never experienced anything like that before, and I have a perfect driving record in terms of accidents. So this was foreign territory. It fell off. I call Young Money and I'm like, hey, we lost the ramp on the freeway. And they're like, we don't care. Find another ramp and get up here. So we talked amongst us that were in the car, and Christian Shareka that was with me, he's like, dude, let's just go back to the shop. Let's get a couple quarter pipes. Let's get a flat bar, and we'll just take up your truck and let's just do the job. Let's skate with Wayne. So we're like, okay, let's do it. We headed back to the shop, ditched the trailer, loaded up my truck, and then we went up there, and by this point it's about 1 a.m. We get there, we set up these ramps. I call Greg Lutzka. I'm like, hey, are you a fan of Lil Wayne? He's like, hell yeah. He zips up in his Bentley, and we all meet there at the same time, and there's no Wayne. And so we're like, hey, what's going on? And so the management's like, hey, he's filming, he'll be out in a little bit. Well, Wayne comes out at about 2:30 in the morning, and this was our first time meeting him. He comes out with a few guys as part of his entourage, and immediately, we all shake hands, and there wasn't this awkward vibe. It wasn't like this man fanning at all. It was, I don't know, just like seeing some buddies that you just want to hang out and skate with. So we grabbed our skateboards, we had an 8-foot wide quarter pipe, and we literally just started riding as if there already was a friendship established. And so it was just organic and natural. So we had a great time. We were there for about 2 hours. We set up a little launch ramp next to Greg's Bentley, and he ollied over the hood of his car without screwing it up. And that was it. From that point on, it was about a week later that the manager called us and said, hey, Tyler, Wayne wants you guys at every music video that he does. It doesn't matter where it's at. And that's the beginning of a new chapter. When we got that phone call from the manager and they said, hey, Wayne wants you at every music video. That's what they call their rider list. So every celebrity has what's called a rider. And a rider means it's a list of demands of what they want to make them feel comfortable when they're on set for a day, 2 days straight, whatever the case.
I want to rap. I want like Tony Hawk. Like the first thing I told him. No, first thing I told him on God. First thing I told him, I was like, I want to rap like Tom with the Tony Hawk shit.
So I'm sure you've heard of situations where someone's like, I need there to be diet, cherry, Pepsi, or whatever on set. So again, a list of demands is called a rider. And so the manager was like, hey, I'm updating Wayne's rider. We're gonna add OC ramps there. I want you at every music video, anything that he does production-wise. And you guys are gonna set up these ramps, and they're not gonna be necessarily in front of the camera. We're not gonna be in the music videos every time. It's more of, we're behind the camera, we're the entertainment for the entertainer. And that's a crazy thought that I never thought we would be in that position. Here we are being the entertainment for literally the world's best and top rapper. And so that was an interesting reality check for sure. Wayne and management weren't looking for just some random ramp builder or whatever. They wanted the best. And not only did they want the best in quality of products, but they also wanted the best in terms of communication and having a team that he could skate with and build this friendship. Of course, Young Money, Cash Money Records wants the best. So who do they come to? OC Ramps. Here we are. And so our next music video thereafter was for No Worries, and that was filmed out in Las Vegas. So we loaded up my truck with a bunch of ramps, crossed the desert. It's about a 4-hour drive. And same thing, we learned pretty quickly that Wayne likes to operate in the evenings. Like, they didn't start filming anything until midnight. For Wayne and everybody on set, like 3, 4, 5 a.m., like that's their like late morning for the average Joe. They didn't need an extra for that, and in that music video, it kind of takes a page out of the Fear and Loathing in the Las Vegas movie. And so there is a scene when we were in a casino, and we're all wearing, like, someone's got a lizard head, someone's got an elephant mask, and so it's this bizarre setting. But it was definitely an experience. We had a great time. And after that, it was music video after music video. So Las Vegas with Lil Wayne was an experience of a lifetime. But it didn't stop there. It kept going. And it was non-stop. One of the next music videos that we did was High School, and that was with Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne. That one was really cool. It was filmed at a house out in Beverly Hills. The property was pretty wild. They had their own private lake. So while we were on set all day, we had built a mini ramp right beside this lake, and we found some kayaks and some canoes. And so while they're filming inside the house and in the backyard, while Nikki's in the pool and the jacuzzi filming her scene, all of us are cruising around in the kayak and canoes. That was a lot of fun. But I will have to say, my absolute favorite music video with Lil Wayne was Love Me, and that was with Future and Drake. And that was an experience I will never forget. It took place in a studio out in Hollywood. They were filming in a huge studio. It was probably like, I don't know, 15,000 square feet. Well, directly next door was an empty studio room. In there, we set up a mini skate park. I mean, we had butter benches, flat rails, quarter pipes, kickers, the whole bit. And so when we first showed up to that, Dave Baczynski was with us. We opened the doors to the studio of where they're filming, and we walk in, and it literally is the beginning of this music video. There's girls on the swings, and Future's in the background with Drake and Wayne. And Wayne was singing his part as we walked in, and he saw us, and he made eye contact with us, and he saw Dave Baczynski. And he's like, hold it, hold it, hold it. And he had the whole set, everyone working, pause it. And he's like, pause, pause, pause. Cut it, cut the music. And we're like, what the hell is going on? And he comes over to us, he's just like marching, and immediately hugs me, Dave, the crew that we're with, And everyone on set, I mean, generally with these videos, there's like 40 or 50 people behind the camera. You got lighting people, you have sound guys, and then the entourage, maybe friends or family of Drake and Future and Wayne. So you have about, 40 or 50 people. And so they're all like, what the heck? Like, who are these dudes and everything? And then right after that, he's like, hey, hang out here. He walks back 20 feet over in front of the camera and he's like, okay, let's go. And then they started recording again. And that whole set was high budget. There's one scene in the music video where there's a flood in a room and he's got these girls swimming around this room. And that was interesting. They brought in this water specialist that had this hose that pumped a ton of water into this room. And it was just really cool to see it take place firsthand. And so we would bounce back and forth next door into this mini skate park that we had and then onto the set. But that experience of Wayne just cutting in the middle of the scene is pretty wild. Although that was my favorite music video, it didn't stop there. We actually had a bunch of other fun adventures. Let's dive into the next one. Another favorite, dude, there's too many favorites. This is hard. Don't make me pick. Another favorite would have been Rich as F with 2 Chainz. And 2 Chainz is amazing. He's such a nice guy. And he's super tall. That one was out in the middle of the desert. It was super east of LA. It was on your way to Las Vegas in the middle of nowhere. It's a dry lake bed. The directions that the producers gave us to get out there were god awful. I mean, honestly, if you were to take a piece of paper and just draw an outline of the United States and just put an X somewhere, that was the equivalent of what we received. So here we are, I'm driving out there with our 20-foot flatbed trailer full of ramps. So again, another mini skate park. There's no address to this desert. They're like, just go to this desert. Well, again, as we've established before, all these music videos are taking place at midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. So it's late, and in the middle of the desert, guess what? There's no lights, there's no street lights, there's no anything. It's pitch black. So obviously I've got the brights on to my truck, but we couldn't see a way to get to the entrance of this desert park. And so we thought it was open desert. After about an hour of searching, we finally found the entrance to the gate of where we could access this location. We show up, 2 Chainz is there, Lil Wayne's there, and 100 other people on set. So we quickly set up our ramps. For this particular one, we were doing a mini ramp because we knew it was gonna be in the desert, it was gonna be on dirt or sand, whatever the case. So we set up this mini ramp. We did bring a couple extra street obstacles because we just weren't sure of the terrain. And it was interesting, we found out that you could actually skate on this dried lake bed, but you could actually push and your wheels would skate. This gave us an idea to film the video part with Dave Baczynski in the Formula. And so it wasn't until we were at this site, it was so unique, you feel like you're on the moon. It's just in the middle of nowhere, super desolate. And we thought, hey, this would be gorgeous scenery for a mini ramp part with Dave Baczynski. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. We went back there a couple months later, and that's where we camped overnight and filmed Dave's part. But nonetheless, the night of this Rich as F music video, we pull up, Wayne came over, he skated with us. It was just like clockwork. We had this rhythm where everyone on set knew us, we knew them. Wayne would be waiting for us to pull up so that he could get out of his trailer and come ride and come skate. And that was quite an experience. Now, when all was said and done, I think they wrapped by 7, 8 in the morning, basically when the sun was rising the next day. We load our trailers and we go to look at our trailer, and sure enough, we have a flat tire. So what do? We didn't have a spare. We left the spare back at the shop. So that created a whole different nightmare. We ended up driving the trailer out of the dried lake bed. We had to abandon the trailer on the side of the road in Crackville, California. And then I drove home with my truck, bought a new spare tire, drove back the next day, replaced it, and then headed home. So There's something to be understood about these Lil Wayne music videos. Honestly, not a single one went perfect. There was always some crazy caveat of an adventure. Either we lose a ramp on a freeway or a tire is flat. So whether it was stuff that we could control or not, there was always something that went haywire with Wayne, which is why it made these adventures so memorable. Now we could laugh about it. Back then it was a little frustrating. That wasn't the last amazing music video. There is one more that was pretty memorable, and that is Bounce with Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz. This one was filmed in downtown LA in like an old abandoned warehouse. I go there, set up these ramps. Wayne was pretty occupied with this particular day. The film crew was pretty quick about setting up the next scene, and they were really on top of it. So it didn't give him much time at all to come out and skate. There's a scene in the music video where 2 Chainz has a team behind him and Lil Wayne has a team behind him, and they're kind of doing this little rap battle. So towards the end of the day, his assistant, Marissa, she's awesome, his stylist, assistant, whatever, she comes up to me and she says, "Hey Tyler, you need to be on Team Wayne and get in the front." I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, no. And she's like, "No, everyone here is an extra, they're getting paid. Wayne doesn't know these guys, he knows you, you're his friend, get up there." I was just looking around and I was just thinking, I don't know, I'm not the type of guy that wants to be in front of the camera, even though we're making this clip, but generally, that's not my vibe. And I just was like, I was nervous. I just didn't want to be the face of this music video. And so she's pulling me and she's like, "Dude, you got to get up to the front." And so we had our own rap battle. We were kind of exchanging words. And I'm like, "Look, I'll get in it. I'll get in the music video, but I'm going to be in the back. I don't want to get in the front." And she's like, "All right, whatever you want to do." So yeah, at the end of the music video, you see me and I'm bouncing around like a dork for the last like 10 seconds of that video. But it was still fun. I'm glad that Marissa forced me into it. I don't know, hindsight, if I would have gone to the front, but at least I'm in there. So again, another memorable experience, one for the books. I mean, let's be real here. I never thought that I would be skating with Lil Wayne, hanging out with him on these music videos, and then much less him inviting me to be in a music video with him. I mean, it's wild, it's nuts. And here we are. We're living a dream. There's one more really cool experience that we had with him, and that takes us to Louisiana. In terms of experiences, there is one that does take the cake, and that was the Louisiana Fest that Wayne hosts in his hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana. So Wayne reached out to us and said, "Hey, I'm hosting this festival, this music festival. It's gonna have every rapper in the game there, and I want skateboarding at the entrance of this venue." We prefabbed a bunch of ramps, we did a custom one, we sent them out to Louisiana, and then meanwhile, me, Tom, Christian, Jordan Hoffert, Dave Baczynski, we packed our bags and we headed to the south. When we arrived, we brought our tools, we started building right away, assembled it in a day, and then started skating. Had a great time. When the event took place, as people entered the venue, they would see our group skating. Once the performance took place, obviously Wayne was the headliner, so they asked us to go on stage, and here we are on the side of the stage, you know, just watching him perform. And it was that, I never experienced that. That was pretty unique. I mean, he literally was 5-6 feet away from us, and he's singing, he's got a mic in one hand, and we're right there just looking out at the crowd. So being on stage was pretty incredible. I've never had that luxury anywhere else. And then when he finished his last song, this is what took me by surprise, is when he finished his last song, Marissa, his stylist and assistant, pushes all of us out, and basically all of his friends and family and everyone there rushed the stage and danced for the last 3 or 4 minutes as they finished up with this festival. Now, once again, I mean, I'm comfortable dancing, and I could dance, but dancing in front of thousands of people on stage with Lil Wayne is That's an entirely different experience. Yeah, I could only imagine the people out in the audience going like, who the hell is this guy, you know? And I think I did a pretty good job. That was wild. So we dance and then we leave the stage. Well, thereafter, he's like, hey, hop in the tour bus with us. We're gonna go hit the clubs. Let's party. It was the craziest experience I've ever witnessed. He obviously has security go in there first, and I don't know how they coordinate it. I don't know if they call in advance to the club and say, hey, like we're pulling up and we've got Wayne and you know, a bunch of people. But we showed up and the security goes out and they start talking and then they clear a path and Wayne walks in. So we went to 3 or 4 clubs that night. The first one, we were in and out within like 10 seconds. One that stands out in my mind is we had to go through a different entrance door to this particular club somewhere in downtown New Orleans. And so same thing, like the security goes through and in total there's probably 20 of us in the whole group. So the security goes through and this club is packed. Like it is shoulder to shoulder. You can't move. Like no one could even like move their arms to grab a drink. It's that packed. They clear this path. I mean, they're like parting the Red Sea. It was so bizarre and awkward because everyone's looking at us like, who the hell are these like skate boys, you know, out of California type of vibe. But, you know, we go up and he's got drinks covered. I mean, obviously red carpet treatment. It was just insane. So we did that to a couple other places. I don't think we got to our hotel until the sun was coming up the next morning. Another cool thing with that particular event is the following day, I talked to Wayne's management and we both agreed it would be a good idea, instead of us bringing the ramps back to OC Ramps, because it was a rental, we both thought it would be great to donate it locally. And that's what we did. We donated the ramps to a DIY skate park there called Parasite. It's a well-known skate spot. Now it's generally concrete, but they have a couple portable obstacles. And we figured, hey, why not donate them there? So we got this U-Haul, drove them over, and then the locals were there. They kind of helped hand unload. And so that was cool to be able to donate something back to Wayne's community and for us to donate something to the skateboard community. That was certainly, it just kind of tied the whole thing together. And with zero sleep, we hopped on a plane, came right back, and we're cranking away the following Monday. So we've learned when you're with Wayne, you don't sleep. It's even crazy to just tell this ramp tale of these experiences, because if you would have told us 20 years ago, hey, at some point you guys are gonna be doing over 20 music videos with Lil Wayne and you're gonna be traveling with him to DC, all over LA, Vegas, and New Orleans, I would have told you you're nuts. But here we are. OC Ramps for the win, baby.
And when you see those tours I did with full skate parks on the stage,
yeah,
I want to ramp. I want like Tony Hawk. Like the first thing I told him. First thing I told him on God. First thing I told him, I was like, I want to ramp like Tony with the Tony Hawk shit.